All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brandon Zenner. We're going to wait 1 second. No, we're not. We're going to go. Brandon Zenner, Community Relations Specialist here with Sedgwick County. We're here today to discuss the consolidation of the Kellogg Tag Office. I'm here with the Treasurer, Brandy Bailey. She's going to give an opening statement, and then we'll be available for questions after.
Good afternoon. At this time of limited resources and a lack of state funding, I am recommending consolidating Tag Office resources to the Douglas Tag Office to the Sedgwick County Board of County Commissioners. The Commissioners will consider this proposal at their meeting on Wednesday, October 1st. If approved by Commissioners at their Wednesday meeting, the Kellogg Tag Office's last day of operations will be Thursday, October 9th. All services will be transferred to the Douglas Tag Office, beginning on Tuesday, October 14th. This move will save the county more than $350,000 per year and will result in more than $1 million in savings over the remainder of the lease, which is set to expire in November of 2028. It is important to know that no jobs will be cut during this transition. I also want to note that this is not in response to the long lines that have been reported on. This was not an easy decision and has been in the works for a long time. This is a stressful and frustrating situation for us, and we will try to give quality service amid funding shortfalls, along with state systems that frequently break down. But our hands are tied due to the lack of operational funding from the state of Kansas that does not cover our expenses. As previously reported on, our offices are experiencing an unusual demand this year due to expanded options for personalized plates and increased vehicle sales, potentially driven by the tariff concerns. These demands are accompanied by frequent disruptions to the outdated state tag system, and that leads to delays in our services. This is not just happening in Sedgwick County. All 105 counties around the state have the same system disruptions due to the archaic tag system. The Sedgwick County Tag Office remains committed to providing citizens with quality service. This move will allow our Douglas Tag Office to be fully stationed and provide visitors with best experiences as possible. In addition to our 3 current satellite locations located at the Kansas Driver's Licensing Office in Derby, Park City City Hall, and the Wichita West Kansas Driver's Licensing Office on Tyler Road, our goal is to add more locations across the county. And with that, we will be adding 3 new locations for our residents to conduct tag businesses. They are all in the works to be opened by the end of October. These partnerships come at no cost to the county, and we are grateful to our current and new partners for their help. We are also exploring the possibility of expanded hours. One thing Tag Office visitors can do to help us be more efficient and to be more efficient with their visit is to be prepared with all of the documents that are required for their transaction upon arrival. This is key to making everybody's experience a positive one. That full list of documents is available on our newly improved Sedgwick County Tag Office website. These transitions will allow us to better serve our citizens and meet them closer to where they are, whether that's close to home or close to work. Despite the challenges they have faced, I want to commend our staff for the great resilience they have shown under this pressure. They have remained focused, efficient, and accurate, and provided the best service that they can and continue to do for the people of Sedgwick County. And with that, I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Will you guys be able to do the same level of transactions with 1 location instead of 2?
Yes. So currently we are, like I said, there is no loss in staff. So all the staff will be moved over to Douglas. Currently we are doing about 650 people per day. We see about 650 people per day doing over 3,100 transactions per day. And so our goal is we're going to continue to operate at the same level of service that we are. Our hope is even to maybe try to increase that a little bit based on opening new satellite locations.
I understand that, you believe you'll be able to have the same level of transactions, but will, I guess, customers, clients who go to these offices have to expect maybe longer wait times, longer lines? Are there any additional barriers maybe that they may face now that it's in all one location?
Like I said, the hopes to have the expanded satellite locations, the 3 additional, so that'll allow me to have 6. So that opens up more appointments for individuals. So that's less that are having to come to the main tag office. What you'll see with us being at one location is right now at any given time, you can walk into any of those locations and see maybe 12 on average people online. You'll see fully stationed staff, and then we will have some individuals working in our back office that during break times and lunch times, those individuals will come to the front of the line. So hopefully we have consistent staffing level the entire day instead of having it to be shortened based on breaks and lunches. So yes, that's the hope. I don't foresee any longer wait times than what you're currently seeing. I foresee it all still being the same. We're just at one location. And yeah, to remind individuals that you can currently renew online through the Kansas ICANN site, or you can mail in a renewal. You can drop it off in our Dropbox. We have one located at the Douglas Tag Office. And then title work, we are trying to work on solutions so that way to make title work a little bit more automated. And we are currently in the process of working on that option.
When it comes to the changes, I mean, what entity recommended the proposal? Who did it come from?
It came from my office, me.
Okay. So with that specifically, I guess obviously it's, last time we spoke, you said it's because of the lack of funding from the state specifically. So with this decision, where was the thought more in the funding specifically, or the constituents? Because after all, they're the people that have to wait in lines that are extremely long. So who does this impact when making the decision? Who is this supposed to benefit more?
So it's really a dual. The decision was based on both concepts. So the funding is not there to cover the expenses that we have or that we are currently seeing, and so I have to make a cut somewhere. And so this is the best way to cut where I'm not losing my employees. But then for the constituent side, the thought is like I said before, when you go into an office, you might see 10, 12 people at any given time online. Sometimes when it comes to break and lunch times, you might see 6 or 7 people on the line, which visually and me personally, I don't like seeing that, and I know customers don't like seeing that. So to have fully staffed stations all throughout the day, that's the goal. So that way citizens will feel like we're there, we're getting the work done.
I know you've got Daniel Cottle, KMEW. I know you've got plans to open the 3 satellite locations, as you said. Can you help me understand how closing this office and then opening the 3 new, how that's going to end up saving you money, if that makes sense? So
I've partnered with all these entities, and to work out of the Kellogg office, like I said, that'll save us about $360,000 a year in operational expenses. Working out of these other locations, they're not charging me anything to be there, so we're in there for free of charge. Just they understand the need, and they find it as a benefit to the citizens in their communities, so that way they're not having to come down to a downtown location. They can do it right there close to their home.
A follow-up. I know that the commission recently voted to cut some of its portion of the funding for the tag office, and they also cited the fees from the state and not being adequate to cover their operations. Is there any part of this decision that is hoping to pressure the legislature a little bit to consider changing the fee structure in the upcoming session?
Of course, that's always the hope, is that way they'll see that, counties are having to make drastic changes in order to run an office because our funding isn't there. So, that's always the hope, is that the legislators will see and take notice as to what's going on. And I'm not the only county that is having to make drastic cuts. I know there's other counties that have closed satellite offices. I know there's counties that are having to lay off staff because of the funding issue.
I know you're going and asking for fee structure changes as you have years prior, but are there maybe other asks of the state, other things you will be asking the state to maybe hopefully get some sort of resolution with this issue?
So one of our big issues right now with the lines is the 5-year personalized plate statute. So I have met with some legislatures, and they agree that we need to look at changing this statute. So we're working on getting a change so that way that can be knocked out as soon as session opens. We're working with KDOR, talking with KDOR. we've expressed the concern about the state is on one server. All 105 counties are on one server. So we've asked about can we get multiple servers so we're not all on one server, which is a big reason for the systems going down is because they're having to reboot the server. We need to look at getting a new system for motor vehicles, and so that's a request that is being made. So all of these are in the works. But it all starts with the legislature.
You guys have time for 2 more questions.
Which location is larger?
The Douglas location.
The Douglas location is
Yes.
larger?
And I have a question, it's probably a two-parter. As far as the lack of funding, is that something new? If not, how long has that been going on? And then kind of when did that first come on your radar that something needs to be done and you started to explore options as what to do?
So I have now been treasurer. I'm going on my 5th year. So when I came in, I was when I started going to KCTA, which is Kansas County Treasurers Association, I became aware that there is issues with the funding. And so prior to my coming into office, the treasurers have been working on a bill to try to get funding changed. And we are going on the 8th year of trying to get legislation passed. And it hasn't passed. So it has been an issue for many years. And I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question?
I guess when did that first come onto your radar as far as the fact that you were going to have to do something to kind of change the trajectory here?
So like I said, I'm going on my 5th year. The first year I was in office, we didn't have to go to the county commissioners and ask them to subsidize the tag office. And then so my 2nd year in office was when I had to first make that request. So like I said, I'm going on my 5th year. So for the last 3 years, I've had to make that request from the county commissioners.
Real quickly, has KDOR been receptive to maybe some of the asks that you've mentioned with the server and other issues?
Not so much. No.
Also, on the point of the questions asked, you mentioned that you've requested a change for like the 5-year plate difference. What change have you requested for that?
So talking with the legislator yesterday, the request is we need to either, if they want to do the 5-year plate, it needs to be where it's not all in 1 year. We need to stagger it out. Or is there a way that we could totally get rid of that because when the statute was written, the reasoning behind the statute is no longer in place because they've changed out the technology that they use to print the license plates.
Thank you guys. I'll also direct you to the handouts we have and we'll discuss the amount of renewals, transactions that we've done. This is related to August and the breakdown of the fees as well, which is average. So, thank you guys.